Okay, so along with this, well, so we're just gonna, as we're doing this, I'm just gonna take a quick moment to look through. That's the basic theory of it. There's some other things we got to talk about how to go into calculations and how to figure out how to work this day for a year. We'll begin to see as the sun's moving through each degree, it's moving through 90 degrees, 90 years. You can break it down to months of a year or a day. You can get down to what days these things are happening on or these phases go on. And that's what we're going to have to do, find out what day in our life. So there's 90 days after we're born. So that's 90 days in the calendar. But those 90 days in the calendar represent different years of our life. They represent another calendar. It's like you have a second calendar going on. We have to figure out what days in real time, in natural time, those progressions are happening at. Because they're happening in real-time days after 90 days after we're born, but they're having an effect years later on certain dates. So we got to get those dates. This is our calculations that we have to be able to do. And there's a couple of ways to go and do it. We'll organize this. We're going to organize it so you can see, you can take ephemeris sheets from when you're born. Like, I mean, I knew people who just work with, there's people who just work with progressions, don't work with transits. And represent and think they're doing spirits and they're doing the spiritual teachings for someone across a lifetime. They won't work with the transit, they just work with progressions. It's enough. But I've also met some professional astrologers who I'm the ephemeris. I grew up with ephemeris before they had computers. So you take the time you're born, in the next three months, you're going to mark in the ephemeris all the things that are happening by progression. Say, oh, that's there, and you're going to try to see when that's going to happen in your life. And that's how we would know. And you can see what Mercury would do across life, how far Venus moves in 90 days, how far the sun moves. You can see that in the ephemeris. If you're just working on a computer, you tend to not look at the ephemeris or the sequence of things, and you just get, at this moment it's there. Oh my goodness, like you don't always see the phases of development of this. So we're going to set up an ephemeris for, you're going to have to get the ephemeris for your month, birth month, and next 3 months. So you have 100 days after you're born. So we can figure out how to use that to get the timing. We're going to do that side, and we're also going to I'll also show you how to use WinStar to calculate a lot of these things as well, but just calculating them is not as good. Just getting the sequence of aspects, it's not as good as seeing it in the ephemeris and watching these things. Is you gain something by doing that. So we're going to do a couple of ways of going in to calculate progressions and work with them. And we're going to make a graph with the stars. We're going to have to draw lines, and we're going to have to prepare that as well. So there's a lot of preparation to be able to see these things, because once you've done the work on the progressions, you're going to be seeing them and you'll be living your life with them. Like they live a long time. So you come back and forth to these graphs and to these images, and you keep seeing, you might get, oh, a great insight one year, and you may not think about it for 5 or 6 years. You come back and go, oh, look at that. And it unfolds even more, like a growing story. So that was Carl Jung's chart. Okay, we're going to go up to the front here. Okay. So we're just going to run through them. This was my chart. My son's at 23 degree Libra. At age 7, I went into Scorpio. Well, that's when I started. My parents split up just before the marriage ended, just before that, and then went into Scorpio. And then as I went into Scorpio, I was on a gym team. In grade 1, I was on a grade 11 gym team, had a Russian gym teacher, and a whole lot of Scorpio things came up. But that's 30 years I had Scorpio things. That's passion, sex. So many things went through that. Then at 37, it went into Sagittarius. And from 37 to 67, it was about learning and understanding and teaching. I was teaching, understanding, learning, went through and traveling through all of these times. I certainly was teaching through all that time. Then just in the last few years, it's gone into Capricorn. So now I'm in the grumpy old Capricorn stage. The Libras end up in the grumpy old Capricorn stage. The Virgos end up in the opinionated Sagittarius stage. You got to think, when you think of someone's sun sign, you got to think, oh, how old are they? And you add those many years as degrees, and you see, oh, they're going through that. You can sort of roughly estimate where the progressed sun is. Useful. Okay, here's sample one. These are just the people's charts in the webinar. So another early Leo, 1 degree Leo, and at 29 it would go into Virgo. But hers at 29 goes into Virgo. It also went across her IC, but then it goes at 59. It would go into Libra, and then it would be 89. It would get into Scorpio. And you can see the cycle going. So when you look at a chart, you can estimate the sun, you can estimate the moon. You can't estimate the other planets. So the solar arcs they just took the sun's movement and moved the whole chart that amount. And then we talk about, there'd be so many aspects of things to talk about, but they're losing the focus of just the sun, and they're losing the fact of the uniqueness of how Mercury and Venus evolve. So it's too much is lost to use the solar arcs. It's not even an addition, it's a distraction more than it is from being able to listen clearly. It's like trying to listen to a symphony and there's someone with a jackhammer on the street outside having an effect. No, it's better without the jackhammer or all the other cars going by. Okay, sample 2, Cancer. Shot up in the 10th house, 13 degrees, 13, 20. At 17 years old, his or her sun will go into Leo. So out of the shy 17 years of Cancer, home shy 17, by the time this person hit high school or university, ta-da, there's a Leo. They gotta be the best. They're gonna have new friends. They're gonna be out of the reach so much of the home and going into play with the world from 17 to 47. At 47, it's going to shift into Virgo, and there'll be a much more analytical phase, a Virgo mercurial phase. So while the progressed sun's in Virgo, Mercury in transits in the natal chart, all the mercurial things get accentuated as a gateway to gaining these inner teachings. It's going to it changes the power in your rulerships. I don't know how to measure and give a quantity, but there's just an extra accentuation that highlights one planet more than another. And since the sun is your development, is your confidence, you're still going to be the Cancer sun, but you're going to go through these inner phases. I got to play with this. I got to write about this. I got to talk about this. You're still going to have these other phases going within that progress from that. So another 29 Cancer. So this is just end of Cancer. So she's born, and just within a few days, within that first day, she's born as a Cancer and moves into Leo. So she's a big kid till 30, 31 roughly, but there's probably exact date. It's actually 2949, so it probably at 5 months it went into Leo. How do you measure what that big shift would be then? You'd have to see in the person's life. But then the Virgo phase would come in at 30. The Libra phase would come in at 60. And all of this is building up to the midheaven. And so you start to see there's a texture, a story here being told. But once you get a 30-year phase, you're saying, well, it's there. It's just there. It's in Leo. There it is. You don't really work it. But then when you break it, you realize there's 5-year phases for the pentans. There's hexagrams, 6-year phases that give you meaning about what's going on in those phases. Wow, this comes alive. It's full of depth and meanings. Like it's your university of life. Okay, July 30th. There's a lot of Leos in this webinar. So we got 7 degrees Leo at 23. That sun would go into Virgo. So it'd be the first half of the life as a kid. The first 23 years has the Leo, ta-da, I'm the kid. Then there's, I got to write, I got to think. Then you get this critical or Virgo quality coming in within the Leo. It's the Leo, but there's this thinking about what am I doing? Where am I going? This is trying to figure things out more. Then it goes into Libra phase. It would go into Libra phase. That's 23. At 53, it would go into Libra phase. It wouldn't be till 83 that we get into the Scorpio phase. And in that period of Libra phase, so we got 53, we got another 6 degrees, 53. So get up to about 59, 60. Her progressed sun will go over her ascendant, and that's really going to be a change from above the horizon to below. Huge. It affects the focus of what's important to you in your lifetime. I'm just getting, we're going to be going, well, in this class, you can't teach progressions without saying how it happens personally. So you're going to be bored to death with my life by the time you're through this. If you're not already, you're going to get more, but at least I have examples of how these things evolve for me, and you can then start, you have a standard to check yours against it. So you're going to have to try and keep up during the classes with this. So example 5, 2 degrees Virgo. So this person, 2 degrees Virgo, conjunct Venus at 4. So at 2 years old, their sun would reach the Venus. And something emotional, something very beautiful, loving might happen there. But or since it's squaring Neptune, something very confusing could be happening there. But the progress sun at 28 would hit Virgo, would go into Libra. At 58, it'll go into Scorpio. And it'll hit Uranus just before that. So, you know, there'd be radical shifts, 58, 59, 60, and hit the midheaven. Peak of her life. Her whole progressed sun is moving up to the top of her chart through her lifetime. Wow. Imagine that. My chart goes down and stays down below my whole lifetime. Okay. So another Leo, example 6, July 25th. So this is, where are we here? 1 degree Leo. There we are. And it's got to be late Leo. Anyways, the moves along and it comes along. It's going to go through 29 degrees. It's 29 years. It's going to be Leo. Leo. Da-da-da-da. That's from 29 to 59, you're going to have the Virgo phase inside of it. What am I doing? What's happening? What do you think is going to be, or more critical or fussy or whatever would come in? And it wouldn't be till 59, 60 that it goes into Libra. A lot of times something goes into Libra, and so it could be a sun and moon or something. Suddenly there's a whole new artistic influence, a Venus element that comes in, or different relationship things comes in. So you just, whenever you look at someone's chart now, I just show you, you should go look at the sun and see where the progression is, where the direction they're moving. So if someone's in their sun's, like here in the first quadrant, it's moving down most of the life down to the IC. It's not moving up to the midheaven. So when things come up for the career, like Saturn and things come up for the career, the sun's down here, the heart's not really into going that far with it. They'll do something with it, but it's not as powerful as someone's their sun moving up to the midheaven and Saturn being there. We'll get to this. This is all, you got to learn. Just as we had to learn each planet's transits before we tried to put them all together, we have to do the same thing with the progressions, watch each one, and see each layer working, and then we put them together to get some sense of, because you're dealing with mounds of information, we have to eventually sift through it to make a common sense story that you can use without getting lost in it, knowing how to tap it. But then if you have a kid that's autistic or someone's got a special problem and you're really concerned, you can go in and find answers to things much deeper in the natal, between the natal chart and the progressions. It's not just about the transits. Okay, sample 7. October 4th, Libra. This is the Libra, 10 degrees Libra. At 20, she would have gone into Scorpio. At 7, it was some progressed sun would have gone over her descendant, starting school, meeting people. Then, but at 20, it would have gone into Scorpio. 20 into Scorpio, that's pretty passionate. I think then it moves up. It wouldn't be till 50 it went into Sag, and then it wouldn't be till 80 that it gets into Capricorn.